history of the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa taught us that sustained grassroots and collective action can dismantle deeply entrenched, violent, and unequal systems. Some key lessons include prioritizing leadership from oppressed groups, building diverse alliances, maintaining unwavering pressure through public education and direct action, and adopting a strategy of reconciliation to foster future unity. In this special episode of the book series, we continued our discussion of the gendered politics of the liberation movement through an unconventional biography. We learned that speech was mediated, coerced, and silenced by both the apartheid state and within the liberation movement. We also learned that the aspect of youth was often synonymous with young men, and political womanhood was defined by motherhood, leaving young women in limbo or invisible in the official archives. People like Mr. Brian have a very big role that they have to do. They have a bigger job than probably those who are in the university space because they are dealing with a much wider group of people. One thing that we have all obviously come to know is that more people go into high school, but less go into universities. So those who are going to be exposed to knowledge that is quote unquote predominantly university type of college publications are fewer than those who are exposed to high school. So I wish we had thousands of Mr. Bryans who can deduce the information, put it into textbooks that can address a variety of aspects about these bigger histories, which gets me into a very important discussion, which is our closing point of our series. I want to know what you consider to be the target audience. Already from this backdrop that we have just been discussing, we are getting the idea that this is a book that's opening up the space to get a lot of more people interested in consuming this, this kind of history. And the good thing that it has been made open access. So quite a lot of people can have access to it. I was already thinking that high school students, yes, have to have access to this. The general person, yes, obviously, and quite a lot of other people that are involved in documenting the histories of apartheid, documenting the histories of students and all that. But I want to know from you, Dr. Raj, when you were writing this book, did you have a conceptualized target audience in mind? Has that target audience changed? And how did you generally feel about what you consider to be the target audience?
Yeah, so I think I did. So when I think actually because I kind of mentioned previously, I was kind of teaching a course called Voice and Silence in the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. I actually had in my mind those undergraduate students that I've been working with when I was kind of writing the book. But I also wanted to try to, I hope, fingers crossed, I don't know if I've achieved it, but I hope that it's accessible in terms of the way that it's written, which that it means that you can also pick it up and read it if you actually don't know very much about apartheid South Africa, but you are interested in these bigger questions of like who gets to be written into history and how does that happen, and those kind of bigger processes about how archives themselves kind of create stories about in the way that they're made, right? So I hope that it's a book that speaks to the South African audience. Obviously, that's the kind of most important audience on one level in my mind. Of like, I wish we knew more about this young woman, and I wish we knew more about young women like her. I don't think she's representative by any means of all the young women that were ever involved in the struggle or anything like that. So I think there are many, many more stories like that out there, which we haven't heard for all sorts of reasons. So I hope that it has an audience there, but I also hope that it does have an audience amongst just anybody and everybody who is interested in how history is kind of made, right? How it the processes by which particular grand narratives get kind of entrenched, because that doesn't happen by accident, right? It's part of a whole set of processes, and we do need those grand narratives, right? We do need those big stories, but I think we need them also with a knowledge of what gets left out, and how we might also learn from the bits that get left out. So those are the sort of I want everyone to read the book now. I hope that it's interesting to people who don't just have an interest in South Africa and South African history as well. Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Brian, where do you see this book fitting?
Yeah, it of course speaks to a number of issues. As a social historian, for me, definitely whenever the issue of voice, the issue of marginality, the issue of silence, whenever it is raised, definitely my ears get to pay close attention, and this book is no exception. And I think it also speaks to, if you remember, in this platform we also had Professor Nyashamboti was advocating for apartheid studies.
I wanted to tell Dr. Rachel about that.
Yes, and I think it also feeds into the way in which we can remember and of course write about histories of those who are silenced, and even I think the language of deathscapes, where you find that even the way the young woman dies, is interpreted also as a way of silencing, and it allows us, I am sure, as social historians, to engage with silences in history, and of course, I think the use of pictures as well, because you'd find that the way Dr. Rachel Johnson takes us into the pictures that we find about the period 1976 to the 1980s, as well as even the early 1990s, you find that there is death in the sense of absence, and of course, no mentioning of the role that women played in general, but this focus on the picture of this book cover, allows us also to reflect on how silencing can be so easily, covered by dominant narratives, and I find this work quite crucial, especially for those who are interested in voice, silence, and gender. Whenever we are dealing with anti-apartheid struggle. But not only that, I think it also cuts across to the regional dimensions, wherever we find there was a struggle with, colonial encounters. I think it helps us as well as social historians to dig a bit more into the archive and also listen, so that we take a closer observation to how this has been recurring, and of course how we can also contribute to such narratives.
So Dr. Rachel, the volume that was being referred to by Mr. Maregedze here is a volume about apartheid studies. It was written by Dr. Nyashamboti, who is currently at the University of the Free State in South Africa. So it's a very voluminous copy that talks about apartheid studies. We did it on this series. So that's the book that we did before I got those two psychologists to talk about Robert Sobukwe's book.
Yeah.
So yours comes as the third one to this to this series. Maybe I think sometime in March we're going to have another guest who's also going to be speaking about South Africa. But thank you so much for that. I just wanted you to close in by telling us, so what are the classes that you are teaching this particular semester?
Actually this semester I'm teaching the voice and silence module again.
Okay.
Even though the book is finished, I'm still teaching.
Okay.
And I'm also teaching on a MA, a master's level module, which is called Global Gender Histories. I don't teach this on my own. I teach it with a group of other people who kind of have different regional specialisms, and we kind of teach it as a team together. We're trying to think about the sort of ways in which people in recent years have tried to bring a kind of global lens to the study of gender, or have tried to gender the kind of these global narratives that we get to, like even bigger grand narratives, right?
Yes. Yes,
but how do you include gender in something as big as a kind of global story? So that's the module. Earlier in the academic year here, I was teaching another South African course, which is all focused around, you almost certainly know the very famous Drum magazine that was kind of emerged in 1950s, 60s South Africa, together with a close colleague, Dr. Anne Heffernan, who's another historian of South Africa, who's based up here in Durham. We teach a module kind of introducing students to the magazine and trying to think like how, and they have a go at like how can they write social histories using this magazine, like what kinds of stories emerge from this magazine. So yeah, it's a mixture of kind of different approaches.
Different, wonderful. That's great. I'm very happy to have you on this series. I'm also very happy to have Mr. Brian from Stellenbosch University and Dr. Rajo from Durham University in the UK. Viewers and listeners, the book that we were looking at today is entitled Voice, Silence and Gender in South Africa's Anti-Apartheid Struggle, The Shadow of a Young Woman. This book was published by the University of London Press, and it was published in association with the Institute of Historical Research and the Royal Historical Society. This is an open access publication that was funded by the Jisc Open Access Community Framework, so do not forget to click the link that is right in the description panel of this video. This has made my job easy, Dr. Racho and Mr. Brian, because I don't have to worry about people asking me the price is too much or this. Today, I have every reason to say, please click the link.
Yeah, please do.
Yes, so thank you very much for your time. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope that you have a good day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Dr. Anotida Chikumbu.
Thanks, Mr.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Rasha Johnson. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.